Success Mantra is a program which features people, successful individuals from various walks of life. They are less known heroes who believe in their dreams and have conviction to live their full potential. Idols, icons, innovators who care to live every moment on their own terms.
Welcome to another episode of Success Mantra. And like always, today we have a very interesting guest with us, the Associate Professor of IIT Kanpur, Indra Sekhar Sen. Would you tell us exactly, how your kind of journey has been?
Yeah, so thanks Sonali, and thanks so much for inviting me on your show. And just to inform the viewers that as I was described, I'm an environmental chemist. So I look into water molecules, chemistry of water molecules, to understand very basic questions that where water is coming from, what is its source, how long will it last. So you don't even have to have a scientific background. You just these are basic fundamental question: how good our water is for drinking, how long will it last, where it's coming from. So that's last over 7 years after moving back to India. That's my entire group of postdocs, PhDs, MTechs, undergraduates. We have only one mission, is to protect the planet from water scarcity, both in terms of quantity and quality. So I'll just give you an example. You have a lot of water but poor quality, that's of no use. At the same time, you have very little water of very good quality, that's also of no use. So it's a balance, like we have to have balance in life. Water has to be also balanced in the right amount and the right quality. So that's our group focuses on. And we are almost doing a lot of research on that front, on the Ganga, on the glaciers. The Chamoli disaster is a perfect example of how fragilized our environment is. Yeah, so that's what we are doing it over the last 7 years in India.
Wonderful. So tell us a little about this award that you got, Young Scientist Award given by the president, and what was it for, and what was the great milestone achieved through this project?
Yeah, so I think these are in the Indian system there are many big award milestones. So you start with milestones of Young Scientist Award, and then you go to something called Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award at the age of 45, and then Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan. That's the ladder, and of course it ends up in Bharat Ratna. But I know academicians end up in Bharat Ratna, but I know Padma Shri and Bhatnagar, these things end up in. Yeah, so what they do is they actually evaluate, and it is all nomination basis. And it's only given you are doing excellent research in the field of science as well as technology, humanities, whichever. You have to excel, really excel on your field. And these are only one award, two award given every year once. So they're pretty competitive, and also through nomination basis. So you have to really have someone nominating you for this kind of awards.
Wow, wonderful. And you also got some entrepreneurship award where you kind of discovered something to do with water purification. Sometime back,
Yes.
we heard about that. So tell us
Yeah.
a
So I
little
think
about
that's
how it was.
yeah, I think that's a different venture I have. So I wear actually two hats. One is my professorship hat where I teach, but then I realized when we do research, it kind of sticks to the papers. We publish, patents we write, but there is a big difference between you doing something in lab and actually you see the product. There is a big roadmap ahead. And
Right.
so on, after 4 or 5 years of research, I realized that there is so much that we can do to contribute to the building of the nation, and even the world. Water quality is such a. So
Mhm.
that's why we came up with this device. It's a smart device, instant water quality monitoring device, which we named as Padmavati.
Wow.
But basically what it can does is it can measure 10 very important water quality parameters that would it can be instantaneously in 2 minutes. And these are like all IoT based. It will be it will be there in the cloud. So this is, I think, it's a big game changer, and that's why we actually received some of the We were even mentioned in Man Ki Baat by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, and every ministry, every minister actually tweeted about it. I think that's all about, and we would launch it in April. There is a lot of noise, vibrance. So I hope that
Wow.
I meet the expectation of the nation.
So why Padmavati? Why was it named Padmavati?
Yeah, I think this is a question I have received from many fronts, and including top level people. So Padmavati, if you really look at lotus, uh,
Hmm.
don't go into the political language. Lotus is a beautiful flower which can bloom in some of the most dirtiest water.
Mhm.
So it means that even the dirtiest water cannot pollute its its beauty or whatever. So that's why we decide, since we are going after poor water quality,
Mhm.
this is a device which will help you to kind of get rid of that poor water quality, and still it will give you those data. Say for example, I can ask you, even Shonali, I can ask you a few questions and I know those answers, but you are the RO at your home, right? I'm sure you have a reverse osmosis, a filter.
Yes, 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 of
But
course. Yeah.
have you really looked into what water it's giving you? You just keep it with good faith that the water purifier is working.
Right.
You don't know when to change your filter, you don't know what's your tap water look like.
Right.
So the reason behind it is there is no such system. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why when what my vision is to have a like Ola Uber, a Uber, a water Uber, where you can just take your phone and put, I really want to check my water at my home. I press a order, you pay 200 rupees, which anyone can pay, and someone will go there, and with this device they can get your water quality tested done. So that's the dream. And of course, we are supported by large multinationals as well. So more surprises will come in future.
Wow, this is really awesome. So, like I'm really curious to know that is Padmavati going to replace the Eurekaforbes and the reverse osmosis machines, which are like in plenty in the market? Is it something which is going to be achieved?
No, not really, because you know actually, I'm supported by one of these big multinational who actually developed this product. So
Mm,
think it in other ways,
mhm,
where market penetration is not there. With this device they can penetrate the market. If you look at the RO filtration in India, it
mhm.
is less than 4%,
Right.
because the awareness is not there. Maybe your house and my house that has those devices,
True.
filtration expensive. 10,000 rupees is a very expensive item, by the way, in terms of
Right.
Indian
Mm,
standard.
mm, mm.
Only 4% penetration. So what they look at it, I really don't look at that I am turning down their business. I'm actually assisting them to make that 4% 8%. And they will be only able to deliver if they can go to the doorstep and say, hey, look, Shanal, your water is very bad, install our purifier. So that's the only way to convince a consumer.
So
So
what is
absolutely
the,
not.
yeah, wow. So Indra, what is the pricing of this Padmavati?
Oh, the pricing. One parameter would cost you less than 1 rupee, the testing, and the device would be less than 1,000 rupees. So
Wow.
now, if you really look into this, the Jal Shakti ministry,
Mm-hmm.
the dream of the nation is actually this. They call this Har Ghar Jal. That means every household
Will have
should
water.
have water in
Right.
their tap. And again, it's a very different world that you and I live in, but the
Mm-hmm.
reality, the ground reality is something else. So
True.
with this Jal Jeevan mission, I was talking to the additional secretary the other day. So they really want not only Har Ghar Jal, they want Har Ghar Nirmal Jal. That means not only the water has to reach, the water quality has to be good.
Right.
Now, if you're looking at large scale testing, like India does 3 crores testing every month, every year. You have to have a very low cost innovation. You cannot say that my analysis would cost you 500 rupees,
Mm.
anyone will be able to afford. Poor
Right.
people won't be able to afford.
Mhm.
So I think that is one, that's the cost. You're looking at 1 rupee, 2 rupee
This is really
analysis, which is just a game changer in the Indian market. And also we are going for like E. coli measurements, which is a huge, all these bacterial, bacteria are a huge problem in Indian water. So
Mm.
with this, I think we would be able to kind of reshape the water sector in India.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that's really exciting journey that you have there, and also, like on a regular basis, what is the kind of, like you said, you kind of teach as well as you are into these various scientific projects. So on a common day, what's your day like? As in, what percentage of your time do you spend on research versus teaching versus like these ventures?
My day is very boring, I would say. Okay, yeah. For a second, it dropped, I think. Yeah, so my routine is very monotonous, I would say. I come to work at around 8:30 in the morning, get up at 8. I stopped playing tennis, which was my one of, still it's my passion, but I don't get much time. Of course, this is an excuse. There is always time if you have the will.
Mm.
But yes, I do get back from work at 5:30, and I take my daughter to tennis every day. So that's the
Mm.
other part. And then we end up eating dinner at 8:30, and then if I have to work a little bit at night, I really do. But
Mm.
yeah, a lot of time goes into student advising, writing projects, project reports, a lot of meetings, both in the ministry as well as through students, a lot of administrative work in IIT Kanpur, because I'm also the coordinator. I'm leading the Center for Technology for Sustainable Development. So it's a mix and match, but yes, it's only work and with little tennis in the evening. That's it, I would sum
Wow.
up.
In fact, I was about to ask you that like at one point in time in your life, tennis was like one of the important aspects, and you were like almost in verge of going into professional tennis, etc. I remember those days when you used to travel cities in to go and participate in various tournaments and all. So, what really triggered this shift from going into tennis to being a scientist?
Yeah, I think that's the most difficult question, I would say. I think it's just a stroke of luck and destiny. You start with something, you end up something else. But I think only thing you have to follow is follow your passion, hard work and dedication. I think it's what required. I really never thought that I would come up with entrepreneur activity and develop this Padmavati, because that was not, I'm not a technologist. I'm a scientist. But I started with science and I developed into technology. So I think I would also say, I started with tennis. Tennis taught me many things, apart from forehand and backhands and volley and smash.
Mm,
I think what it taught me is hard work. It taught me, I think the most important thing it taught me is it taught me to lose. And
mm.
even today, I lose so many times. We write papers, it gets rejected. We write patents, it gets rejected. But we don't give it up. That's what I think you will appreciate. That's what a true
Absolutely.
sportsman does. We
Yeah.
just try, keep on trying and keep on trying, and it comes back.
Mhm.
But here in the IIT system, I think that's the problem I see with the younger generation. The students who are some of the most brightest of the country, because they were never second in their life.
Mm.
Throughout their school, they were topper. Now all this topper comes into first year undergraduate in IIT. Now someone has to become last and someone will be first. and,
True.
and these people go into like depression because they were never, forget about becoming, they were never even third in their class, always like first second. Now in a class of 1 to 35, someone will be 35 who never even thought.
True.
But that's what I think, they were not trained, because they were like only looking at
I know.
success, or they did not learn how to lose. And when you lose, what you need to do, I think that's what I think tennis really taught me, which I really feel missing in all these IITians that I usually teach day in and day out.
I know. I can completely relate to that because, I think a lot of our life journey becomes easier when we have been in sports. And the learnings that
Absolutely.
I have had in my badminton court are like, like more valuable than time I've spent burning midnight oil studying for exams. So
Mhm.
that's absolutely there. So that gets us to this interesting aspect. You spoke about success, right? So what does success really mean to you? Because you have like you did so well, you went to US, you did your research there, you came back to like came back to India again. Curious about that how come you decided that okay, your destiny is in India, not in US?
Mhm. Okay, so I think there are two parts to this question: what success means and why I came back to India. I think let me just address the why I came back to India.
Okay.
Uh, I think the reason I really came back to India, I think I really won't say to. I think again it was just a destiny, and I can even now I can go back to US anytime. It's just again I apply 10 places, 9 will reject me, one will definitely take me. So I can go back. It's not like that. So coming back to India was kind of course it was. I decided that I would come back. That was the reason. Otherwise, I would have stayed back because I really wanted to do few things for the country which I love, and I have a lot of connection, a lot of my emotions are attached to Calcutta, and eventually maybe someday I would really, you can tell me that I'm very boring, but that's the city I really like. So somehow I think we are attached to this grassroots, so and that's the reason we came back.
Mhm.
Now the second question is what success means to you. Again, this is also a very philosophical question to answer. Like, I can say, okay, success means to me writing a lot of papers as an academician.
Mhm.
uh, a success as an entrepreneur means making a lot of money. But I think what I really mean, what I feel that a success to me is when, in particular in Indian context, is when you create a lot of manpower opportunity, skilled manpower, jobs, creating jobs.
Mhm.
Because you won't believe, every other day I receive a email or someone stops to my office that they are looking for job. There is no job. So I really feel that if you are successful, you set up an ecosystem in such a way that you create employment, you create livelihood, and you solve really problem. Now that problem can be as tech savvy as sending a rocket to Mars, or solving a water clogging in your washroom. That's also a problem, solving thing. So it is really, to me, success means if you have solved a problem which was bothering you or your neighborhood or your community or your nation or the world. And it can be at any scale. As I said, it can be sending a rocket to Mars, to solving waterlogging issues in Bangalore. That's also a big success, I would say. Or traffic problems in Bangalore, or waterlogging issues in some district. So that is an equal success to me, I would say.
Wow. That's like a really, I would say, appropriate definition of success, that solving problems is what really matters in life because, like one
Mhm.
problem at a time, when you do it, it gives you great satisfaction. So, in this process of solving problems, what has, what are the behaviors or traits or characteristics which has really helped you progress solving one problem after the other?
Oh, I think it is just the dedication and pursue your dreams. Just go after it. And say for example, I'm very, work very close to Kent. Kent is a,
Yeah.
I don't know whether you are aware of it. Kent is one of the leading water purifier, and I know the CEO of Kent, and he always tells me that if you believe in something, you just go for it. And
Mhm.
I think I really look him as a role model. That's how it should be done. If you believe in it, you go for it. You will fail,
Mhm.
but in that failure also you would learn something. It's not like everything that you do, there is a learning into it, and you take that learning and you take your next step, and one day you will succeed. And I think that again comes back to sports. I'm sure you have lost many matches. I have lost many matches. But then we decide what went wrong that I lost that match. And then we improve and then we win. So I think these, fundamentals are there, was there at that time. It is still there now as well, that we build upon something and progress slowly, one by one. Never ever lose hope. You just continue. Things will fall in place with time.
True, true. One, like absolutely, because again, even in times of COVID, a lot of people are going through a lot of different kind of challenges.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that like such interactions will motivate a lot of people to not lose hope, but keep trying, doing their best in whatever they're doing. Fantastic. So, Indra, what has been the greatest achievement or success story in your life?
It's yet to come.
Okay, well, so far.
Yeah. So when I will solve the water quality issues, with a device or with a technology or with a process, where you meet every citizen of India, and not only India, across the globe. There
Yeah.
are many, every country has water problems. So I see really that the vision that can we solve it. I think that would be the biggest achievement. Maybe uh, that can be recognized, that cannot be that may not be recognized, but I think to me that would be the biggest achievement in life, where really this har, in Indian term, if you the only scheme is har ghar jal.
Mm.
Now, can I make it har ghar nirmal jal? Nirmal means clean. So
Mm.
I think that would be the biggest achievement, to be very honest.
Okay, but when you look back, what feels like, okay, this was really worth something that I had done.
uh, Again, I think it really depends. If I'm really talking in a very materialistic way, I think, of course, going into Rashtrapati Bhavan and getting that award from the president, that was really something which I would remember forever. Because even in order to meet president, there are so many protocols that need to maintain. We had a complete mock drill in can you imagine, all these people, and I was still a young scientist. There were like top notch scientists who is like Padma Shri, they also had to go through the same drill, that their names were called, they have to go up. We were told what to do, what not to do. Like, you don't shake hand with president, you just don't, normally what we do, we will go up and we'll try to. So you just, all things were told to us, that what you should do and what you should not be doing. And I think that was some unique and I would say a memorable moment. But again, that's talking about your personal gains.
Mhm.
um, but in terms of the other, I think biggest, if I really look back and if I really think that what uh, the other big achievements that I have received, uh, I have so far achieved, which is not on papers, is creating this huge environment here in IIT Kanpur. I have really one of the state of the art labs of the country, with almost like 5,000 square feet, 25 people working with me. I think that's really the way, be given that my background, I was never an IIT, and and I'm like, I think that is the biggest thing I have so far, the lab, state of the art lab equipment, student, postdoc, the complete environment that I'm sitting in. I think that's that's really the biggest achievement I have so far.
Wonderful. So, like a quick question. You spoke about purifying water, Har Ghar Nirmal Jal. Many a times we hear that there's going to be no water in Bangalore. There's going to be, Calcutta is going to go down into water after a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
years. What is your perspective on these various conjectures which are there across, the country? That water is
Yeah,
going to
I think,
be scarce, resource in times to come, and
yeah.
really have a lot of troubled times ahead.
Yeah, I think Shonali, it's a very good question, I would say. I think I would give you one very short answer to it, and then I'll say what can be done is respect water. If you don't respect it, you will lose. And it's true for everything. If you don't respect your money, the money will leave you.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
if you don't respect your relationship, it will fall apart. So respect water, I think that is the biggest thing. And our to be very honest, we don't really respect it, in the sense, our policies are also not meant for it. And
Mm.
I'll give you a few examples to it. As on date, our groundwater, groundwater is the water from where all the waters are, the tube wells, the deep wells, the wells. These are natural resources, right? But we don't have to pay anything to anyone to extract that water. I can simply go and dug a bore well, switch on the pump, buy a pump with 5,000 rupees and keep it on for whole day. But something is, you know getting depleted, but we don't know because we don't pay for it. So
Right.
that's why we don't have the respect. So now we are, the government is, going into several awareness programs, like, you should look into the catch the rain. In
Mm.
India, water should not be a problem at all. It's really a monsoon dominated system. We receive so much of rainfall. Flooding is every year, but at one part of the country there is no water. So yes, I would say respect rain, respect water, and use your natural instinct, your natural learning ways, like catch the rain. You rainwater harvesting, you can just put some sort of pipeline, so that whatever, when rain it catch the rain when it falls. These are common things that people all should practice. And if we all practice, no one has to do anything. We will conserve water. So I think respect is the most proper term to use.
So I guess lot of awareness drives need to be done for more people to really participate in this entire journey of saving water and respecting water.
Absolutely.
Won-
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So you spoke about various achievements and how things have been, and what's your dream goal that you are kind of pursuing at this point in time. Who has been your role model in life, who has really inspired you to move from these various kind of projects that you take up for yourself?
Oh, my tennis racket.
Your tennis racket.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us a little
That's a
bit about that.
that that's the most diplomatic answer you can give, rather than naming someone.
That's well said, I would say.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
rather than taking any name, you say your tennis
yeah,
racket. But would you
yeah.
like to qualify your tennis racket for something that it really teaches you every single
No, no,
day?
absolutely. No, no, absolutely. On a serious note, yeah.
Mm.
Again, it's the respect for your racket. The first thing we were taught, don't throw your racket, and we did it. When we lost few matches, we did it. We broke the string, we broke rackets. But again, what I'm saying is that really gave me identity. I started my early days playing, and winning, losing. It's personality building and everything.
Mhm.
But even today, believe me, when I was in Florida, all my friends were actually from the tennis circle. Even today in IIT, of course, colleagues are colleagues, that's a different bonding altogether. but my close friends are all, we have only one common connection, that's sports, where there is no politics, where there is, there's a common thread in the common wavelength that we speak. But I would say that's who gave it. I think the tennis racket only gave me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, like during your tennis days and even today, if you had to take one name in the tennis circuit who really
Mhm.
kind of is an inspirational figure, then who would that be?
Oh, when in my junior days, I was a big fan of Boris Baker.
Mm.
But then on later on, it was Federer. I'm a big fan of Federer. So yeah, it depends. With time, people moved out, new people came in. Yeah. So Stefan Edberg, I was a big fan of. Ivan Lendl, I was a big fan of. Boris Baker, and then this, not the, yeah, Pete Sampras, and then Roger Federer. So that's the continuity, I would say.
Wonderful. Great. So, like tennis, being a scientist, being a parent, like, do you see any kind of parallels? Being a parent is tough or easy, or what is your advice for parents?
You have to spend time. I think that's the biggest advice, and I do, as I tell you, no matter how busy I am, no matter how many meetings I have, I really don't keep, and you are actually really special. I'm actually, going on at like 8:30 in the night, but I usually keep, 5:30 to 8:30, 9:30, whatever that time is, 4 hours absolutely free with family. I go to tennis court each and every day almost. I have students as well. I have, in my community, I have, two more young girls who started playing with my daughter. So we have a group. That's the. But yeah, so to answer your question, you have to give time. You cannot. It has to be a real balance between life, between profession and personal. If you go really on one direction, you will suffer. And no matter what it is, if you don't do your work well, and if you're all into family, that's also a loss. If you're only working and not looking into family, that's also a loss. That perfect balance. I think my postdoc advisor said me one thing which I always tell to my student: life is all about time management, and you really need to manage your time well. If you are a master of it, you will succeed. I think that's true.
So, a lot of time management that has to be put in
Oh,
place to
absolutely,
enjoy every aspect
absolutely,
of
yeah,
life. Wonderful.
absolutely.
And Indra, like successes are fine, but how do you deal with failures? And has it been ever, a kind of problem for you? And what's your mantra in that regard in terms of
Oh,
dealing
again, as I said, I lost so many matches when I was a tennis player. It's just one more day, and
with?
and I'll tell you, another academician. If you talk to any academician, what we do, we write papers.
Mm,
Those papers get published and they go into peer review. Many times, they say that the journal said, oh, your study is not suitable, or your study is not up to the mark, or there are these problems, you need to address.
mm,
This is true. It's not for me, it is true for our profession. We face rejections, if each and every day, no matter how successful that person is. So, but again, I think I would again say the same thing. Okay, that's fine. That's got rejected. You
mm.
improve it. Look into what the you receive, what comments, the reasons behind the rejection, and you move ahead. You try to improve it. So I think positivity is very important, which lacks nowadays. That, oh, they have rejected. That means these people are bad. Take things in a positive stride and move ahead.
Mm,
Someday someone will accept it.
mm.
I think that's also very important, taking things on a positive note. That's really, really important.
Pretty good. Yeah, because rejection is there in every profession. Why sports or like
Every profession.
research,
Yeah, yeah.
every profession has it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So fantastic. Like we're really glad, Indro, you could take time out of your busy schedule for this wonderful interaction that would help a lot of people stay inspired and move towards their goals in life. And before we wind up, what is this message or mantra that you would like to give our audience, which will help them pursue their goals and, achieve success in whatever they do?
Okay, so if you really ask for one line mantra, I would say be positive. If you dream, go for it, and staying to my field, respect water. I think with this 3 4 mantras, I would like to kind of conclude this session, or this is the message: be positive. If you dream, go for it, work hard towards it, things will fall in place, and respect water.
Wow, fantastic. So be positive and go for your dream. And of course, the most important thing, if you want to enjoy water, respect water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All the best for Padmavati.
Yeah,
We are really looking
absolutely.
forward to
Yeah.
experience it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and thank you very much for inviting me as well. And again, it was a really pleasure interacting with you, and good luck to you as well.